Ladies, gentlemen of the DC Universe, welcome to a brand new news roundup video. And today I have got so much DC Studios news to sift through. Some really awesome stuff that just dropped last night. Some other updates covering DCU Batman to all kinds of other things within that of the DC Universe, the projects, and much more. And, you know, some things actually worry me personally, that we're going to get into in just a few minutes time. Not to freak any of you guys out, it'll make sense in a minute, but go ahead. Would really appreciate a like on this video if and only if you do go on to enjoy it, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this each and every week. So yesterday I had a video to put out, and that was my Superman and Lois review, and a lot of you, given what else dropped last night, were like, Boba, why aren't you making a video on what James Gunn just revealed to us? But hey, I'm here now, and if you didn't know already, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally got confirmation of Krypto the Superdog in that of James Gunn's Superman movie, which, you know, it felt kind of obvious given the behind-the-scenes filming that we saw with Mr. Terrific throwing dog treats out to some invisible thing in the streets, which would be later CGI'd into the film. But what's also so incredibly awesome about this is that we've got our first somewhat, I don't know if you would say poster, it's more like a promo piece, if you will, more of like a concept for the movie of Superman sitting there on what appears to be the moon. I mean, you kind of have to think that's the moon, looking back on Earth as it's spinning. And as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, I've already got this, if I dismiss all my notifications here, on loop on my phone. You can see the freaking planet rotating there. I love it. It's amazing. I am very happy with this. Just seeing David Corenswet, the gorgeous, majestic cape there, and Krypto himself. But let's actually read out what James Gunn has to say first before I get into all of my thoughts on this, what this means with what he's also said in some other replies. So he says, Krypto arrives on screens in Superman this summer. Krypto was inspired by our dog Ozu, who we adopted shortly after I started writing Superman. Ozu, who came from a hoarding situation in a backyard with 60 other dogs and never knew human beings, was problematic to say the least. He immediately came in and destroyed our home, our shoes, our furniture. He even ate my laptop. It took a long time before he would even let us touch him. I remember thinking, gosh, how difficult would life be if Ozu had superpowers? And thus Krypto came into the script and changed the shape of the story as Ozu was changing my life. What better time to debut the not so good boy Krypto than hashtag adopt a shelter dog month. By the way, Ozu today is fairly often a very good boy. So I think that's a really, you know, sweet backstory that injected kind of life into the Superman script itself. As you guys know, we're getting a very comic book, you know, fantastical DC Universe. I know not everyone out there, because I mean, we see all kinds of opinions on the internet, you know, isn't so up for like a flying Superdog, even though he's very much so in that of the comics, one of them actually being All-Star Superman that is influencing Gunn's Superman movie. So to a lot of us here on the channel, especially with behind-the-scenes filming, making it ever so obvious, we knew that Krypto was going to be in this film. But to get something like this, that little promo piece that he put out, I actually didn't expect something like that until around about December, you know, when we were thinking about a teaser or something like that. And by the way, huge update on a possible teaser coming in December, which I know we've touched on in recent videos, so stay tuned for that part of this video. But, you know, as Grant Morrison said, guys, if Superman walks the dog, he walks it around the asteroid belt because it can fly in space. And I do hope that this kind of teaser promo artwork concept, if you will, even though, as I stressed, I think this is more just meant to give you a little flavor, the aesthetic, the tone of the movie. It's not, I don't, you know, I've seen a lot of people say it's quite literally a shot from the film. I definitely don't think you can say that right now. I think it's just meant to be, you know, indicating of what we're gonna get. And, you know, even the color that we see in this, very vibrant and gorgeous in all those ways. But having said that, I also wouldn't be surprised if we did actually get a scene in the movie of Superman walking the dog. but across an asteroid belt in space and then chilling on the moon, just like he did in All-Star Superman. Now, some other people are kind of having some issues with the breed of dog here. Now, Krypto is and has been different in various different iterations. So it's completely fine having a preference, but I've seen some people say, what the hell, this isn't accurate at all, but that's really not the case, and James Gunn even weighed in on this himself. So we had this user saying, not to be that guy, but isn't Krypto supposed to be something akin to a Labrador or something similar? And Gunn said, no, Krypto is historically a generic white dog, sometimes also a lab, white shepherd, husky, or Dalmatian. But obviously, he's an alien, so he wouldn't necessarily be exactly any one of these things, which is completely true. And here's like a comic panel just showing you that the breed that Gunn went for here, based on his own dog, isn't actually all too far from an iteration of Krypto in the comics. But what I also found interesting about this, and this may not be like a huge surprise to any of you, but Gunn confirmed here basically that Krypto is obviously an alien. Now, the reason why I find this news to me personally is because we didn't truly know how they were going to adapt Krypto in the film. For example, yes, Jor-El could have sent him down to Earth before Clark, and that's how he arrived there. That kind of origin for Krypto. And I wasn't sure if they were really going to do that, have him actually be a dog from Krypton, or go more the kind of route that most recently the live-action Titans did over on HBO Max at the time in Season 2, in where I felt like it tied in with the rumors of this film that if Lex Luthor is up to no good with Superman's DNA, and let's just say Ultraman is a thing or whatever, that maybe you would do animal testing first, right? And in Titans, that is exactly what happened when Luthor was trying to create Superboy. He used some Kryptonian DNA on Krypto, and that's how Krypto came to be. And I felt like that would be like a cool thing in the film that would naturally, you know, link to the story that Lex was up to anyway. And it's just that Clark takes him in because it's like, hey, I'm Kryptonian, you're a dog that's now been made Kryptonian, and I'm going to look after you now. I felt like that was a cool way to do it, but the fact that he says that he's an alien, I guess it would be safe to assume that, yeah, Krypto does actually come from Krypton. Now, I suppose you could still link in that Kara could have brought Krypto to Earth, because, you know, my thoughts on this, I think Millie Alcock's Kara came to Earth several years ago, before when we're picking up in present day in Superman, and when we see her in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, just like the comic, it could be her 21st birthday. It's just in the years prior to this, she may not truly have found her way. So technically, I'm not going to rule out the whole Kara could have introduced Krypto to Clark when she arrived on Earth, let's say at 14, 15, 5 years go by, the movie of Supergirl picks up, it's coming up to her 21st birthday, and yeah, Clark has just got to know her cousin over those years, got to know Krypto, and he's in this movie, but Krypto can easily go over the same dog we're going to see in Superman over to that of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow as well. So not really too much more to say other than really happy with this. Again, now I'm about to move on to the next big thing, which, again, makes me a bit anxious, but that's only because of my own personal situation at the time with regards to a possible teaser. But I genuinely thought, given what Gunn has said before, that our first promo kind of thing like this, with like literally the earth spinning and like a nice piece of artwork concept, wouldn't be happening until maybe Christmas Day. So this really just further emboldens me to think we are going to get something in December. So it's awesome that we got something like this now, but let's now actually move on to what the heck is happening maybe a little bit later this year. So just to give you a little bit of a recap from my previous news roundup videos, we had David Corenswet go on the Manly Things podcast, a podcast that he helped create. And granted, you know, he didn't really speak so much about Superman there because, you know, that's not really the point of the podcast. But, you know, a lot of us who are looking forward to David Corenswet be Superman tuned into the whole thing. And on that podcast, he also has his stylist there, this very same stylist who will be fitting him for all of the, like, you know, public things he's going to be doing, the red carpets, the press tour things. And they were talking about specifically the promotion, the marketing, the press tour for that of Superman. And he began saying, oh, I don't know if I can talk about it. But then David Corenswet said, yeah, there may be something going down in December. And the stylist continued off his sentence saying, yeah, so December, then, the spring, the movie's coming out in the summer. So we were thinking what was going on in December. And most people were linking this to CCXP, which is a convention in where, big announcements do happen. It's in Brazil. And, I was like, oh, damn, maybe something is happening after all, but we can't be super, super sure. But, it would link up with what Corenswet was saying, and maybe him as well as some other cast members alongside James Gunn could make an appearance at that convention to do the very first, slightly bigger thing. I'm not saying full-blown trailer, official trailer one, but maybe something in terms of footage. Now, the update in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, granted, it's not something I can say with full conviction is confirmation, but I would definitely say it's James Gunn flirting with the idea of it. So this user says, James Gunn, are we getting a Superman teaser or trailer before the end of the year? And James Gunn replies with the kind of thinking emoji face. So, to state the obvious here, he didn't have to reply to this. Sure, he didn't give too much away because that emoji could be perceived in a few different ways, but it is, again, kind of entertaining it, at least from where I'm standing. You combine this with what David Corenswet said. You combine this with the fact that we have CCXP going down. It feels like, damn, we really might be getting our first teaser of some kind. Now, the reason why I didn't think we were, but minds do change, especially with how far this movie is going along, like quite swiftly in post-production from what we're hearing. Gunn did say previously, when this user said, hey, James, when you're finished with writing Superman Legacy, will we get a trailer for Superman Legacy this year? And he outright said, no. Full stop. No. We don't begin filming until March. Writing is basically done and has been for a while, other than a comma here and a comma there. So ignore the latter there. He said no. But again, with the most recent podcast tease about something going on in December that David needs to be fit for by his stylist, Gunn saying this over on Threads. Also with how do I know that the post-production's going so swiftly that this could also make sense as well, where we have Big Screen Leaks saying it's in post-production to the point of where I'm told there's an assembly cut done. Gunn got asked if this was true, and he said, oh, the assembly was done long ago. Now, don't get me wrong, an assembly cut is by no means the finished product, or, quite far from that, but it's basically a cut of all the footage in more or less a consistent cut, a sequence, if you will, but one that still very much so needs to be edited. So all I'm trying to say, and you've heard me say this before when I've talked about, like, James Gunn could easily do the Matt Reeves camera test thing if he wanted to. They've shot the whole movie. They could release easily a scene of footage that's 25 seconds long, that's color graded if he wanted to. Now we know the assembly cut's done, and they're past that, way past that, as Gunn said, it was done long ago. Yeah, they could easily pull something out the bag in December, somewhat around the CCXP date. So, guys, with all of this being said, I know I keep saying it, but I just wanted to really hammer it in with all of the evidence that we have. It looks like we're going to be getting something, but why am I worried about this? Well, CCXP, ladies and gentlemen, what are the dates for it? Let's have a look. Thursday, the 5th of December, so Creature Commando's release date, to Sunday, the 8th of December. I'm getting married on the 6th of December. So if there's going to be a panel with James Gunn, maybe Corenswet appearing there, and maybe this teaser that, certainly seems to be taking shape for an appearance, that will probably be on a panel on a Friday, which is my wedding day, Friday the 6th of December, or Saturday. I mean, sure, it could be Sunday, but I'm thinking if it's got to drop, it'll probably be on a panel on Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Very happy about getting married. But, if I can't make a video on that, which it seems pretty near impossible for me to do, I'm going to be getting comments and comments from all the people who won't remember this or won't be watching this video being like, Boba, how could you not make a video about Superman? Like, how? And I know I'm very happy that weekend, but I'm also going to be like, I'm also a big fan of Superman. I want to see it, and I also want to make a video about it. Now, with that being said, I know what a lot of you are going to say, Boba, just enjoy your wedding, the day after that and stuff like that, but I am going to try and make a video. Now, no, obviously not on my wedding day, so if it drops Friday, I clearly can't make a video on it when it comes out, but I'm hoping it drops Friday, so the day afterwards, even if I'm feeling a bit hungover, let's just say I could still do a quick reaction, ramble my thoughts out there. You guys know how easy it is for me to do that, so I'm hoping sometime Saturday I'll be able to make a video on it, because if it drops Saturday, yeah, I'm going on a little mini moon on Sunday, so my full honeymoon, if you will, won't be until 2025, early 2025, but I'm going away for a couple of nights after the wedding, but not until the Sunday, so you see there's a very small window for me to do a bit of a reaction about it. I know a lot of you maybe just don't care about this, but clearly with me covering this movie so much, I want to be able to make that first video when we get that first teaser. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Maybe if it drops the night of my wedding, Friday, I'll just end up doing a freaking live stream in my tux. I'm joking, but yeah. I guess watch this space. But just remember, if I don't cover it, you bloody well know why. Now, some people are hoping that a teaser will be happening at New York Comic Con. I have briefly spoken about this before. Gunn did recently post saying to those attending New York Comic Con, your assignment is to report to Belle Reeve. Your new prison inmates will be there to greet you, and if you step out of line, you'll have to answer to the creature commandos, follow protocol, and you will be rewarded with exclusive gear. So obviously, there's going to be quite a creature commandos presence at New York Comic Con. There's going to be a panel. As we know, people are hoping that there's going to be like a surprise Superman teaser drop. Again, I don't think they're going to subvert that expectation and steal the thunder from Creature Commandos, which is why I think if we're going to get that, it will be in December at CCXP. Who knows? I could be wrong, but do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way things go down. Now, with other updates on the DCU, we have Gunn replying to this rumor that was going around, and I saw a lot of you hitting me up about this, saying, Bobo, I need your thoughts on this. And there was a rumor going around saying, looks like DC Studios wants a middle-aged Batman for the DCU. And Gunn quote tweeted that, literally saying, bullshit. And on his Instagram story, he doubled down, saying sometimes the rumor folks get information wrong, but other times they just seem to make stuff up for clicks out of whole cloth. This is one of the latter. So I guess people want to know my thoughts about this because it confirms to them that Batman's not going to be in the age range of like Hal Jordan, who's being played by Kyle Chandler. He's 59 years old. We have Nathan Fillion in his 50s. And I guess people were worried about that because since Batman, you know, in present day has a Bat family built up around him, Damian Wayne's coming in, I guess people didn't really want Batman to be that much older than Superman. And I totally get that. Now, this doesn't mean he won't be the age that I have speculated. Now, that is just speculation. I'm not saying I'm right, but middle-aged is generally perceived to be, what, like 40 to 60 years old, more into the mid-40s, I would say, being truly like, okay, you are deemed middle-aged, and you kind of get to old age, 60 onwards, right? So what I'm trying to say is I've seen a lot of people react to this being like, oh, that means Batman's going to be like 32, like David Corenswet. And I don't think that will be the case. I think he could still be 36 to 38 years old. Maybe he could even make him 40. Now, I know people would still argue 40 marks middle-aged, but again, just don't be surprised if the actor is 39, 40, 41, 42 even. I'm still leaving that open, but he's not going to be middle-aged in the sense of 52, 55, 49, 58, or 59 like Carl Chandler. I think Gunn's going to find someone, yes, like Brandon Sklenar, who, with all of this being said and done, really does squeeze perfectly into that role with regards to age and everyone else's thoughts on how he would actually be a really cool and good fit for the DCU Batman. Just to give you an example there, like Brandon Sklenar, he's 34 years old. By the time Brave and the Bold would be filming, he's probably going to be around 36-ish, give or take, maybe a little bit older. Who knows when we're really going to get that in production. But I would more take this as Gunn is saying it's BS if you think Batman's going to be like 48 or 52. Don't get carried away at the same time. I think he's going to be 31. But yeah, just I think the happy middle ground will be, what, to be honest, to not blow smoke here up my own ass, but I think, yeah, mid to late 30s is probably where I would kind of put my chips on the table. Now, we also have a little bit of an update on Booster Gold in a way, or at least that's what a lot of people want me to talk about, because Gunn quote tweeted or on Threads when promoting, saying, oh, don't forget about the Christopher Reeve documentary, go see it in theaters, get your tickets here. But he quote tweeted a post, showing the various actors who have been cast in the DCU matching their characters. So you see Carl Chandler there, matching Hal Jordan. You have Eddie Gathegi matching Mr. Terrific, but you also have Kumail Nanjiani matching Booster Gold. Yes, it's not a confirmed casting, but everyone is kind of that sure about it. So people are like, did he kind of just endorse and low-key confirm that Kumail Nanjiani is Booster Gold? But what was more interesting is that people are now thinking that he isn't, because this user asked, does you reposting this mean Kumail Nanjiani as Booster Gold is confirmed? And Gunn says, no. I foolishly didn't even know there was more than one photo with regards to the one that he, reposted. So people are saying that's confirmation he isn't. I wouldn't take it that way. Like, we all know how Gunn operates here. I am still pretty confident that Kumail Nanjiani will be revealed as Booster Gold when the time comes, because you don't need to announce that now when nothing is happening with the character as it currently stands with regards to the existing projects that are releasing in the next year or two. But what he is saying no to here is quite simply, does you reposting this mean Kumail Nanjiani as Booster Gold is confirmed? He's saying, no, that is not me confirming Kumail Nanjiani. Now, does that mean that Kumail Nanjiani isn't Booster Gold? No. He could still be Booster Gold. It's just this isn't Gunn confirming it. I know some people will say that I'm probably looking too deep into that, and this is him saying no to Kumail Nanjiani, but I'm telling you, he could have done that a long time ago with all of those posts, all of those stories coming out, and he didn't. This is just quite simply, in my mind, him saying no, as in, no, I'm not confirming it, but that doesn't mean I'm not confirming it one day. So as for some other teasers here from James Gunn, we had this article from IGN talking about a post he did recently where he replied to some Threads users saying that some scripts are in development with the DCU projects, either looking for writers or being written or rewritten. When scripts are finished, they're ready to be made, they are greenlit, and then they are in production. And he said all of this because people were wondering, what's going on with the Authority? Is it kind of completely dormant? So that's just Gunn saying, hey, just because something hasn't happened, it doesn't mean it's not in development, or, we're still looking for writers, or things are being written or rewritten. And so when IGN made that article talking about that, he added on to it saying, just to clarify, I said everything we originally announced was still in development, not that it's still coming. Interesting. That all depends on the scripts. We'll never put a half-assed script in production just because it was announced. So this confused some people, because the way that does read is that, okay, so as he says, I said everything we originally announced in that YouTube Gods and Monsters announcement video, it was still in development, not that it's still coming. So technically, you could interpret that as some of those projects might not come to fruition, and that arguably has and will always be the case with anything. Just because some projects get announced with things, it doesn't mean that they're successful in the development stage before even getting greenlit to, proper pre-production. And so that led some people to be like, oh, well, I don't mean to sound daft, but, why announce if you don't have viable scripts? And Gunn said, because they would all get out there with or without us announcing, as projects since have. So we simply announced the projects we were putting in development. And I think that's fair enough. Because when you read Gunn's reply to IGN there, it's yeah, why would you announce it if some of them aren't even going to happen? But then again, it is totally true in this day and age that projects do get out there, so he may as well just announce the basic slate that he's got, whether some or all of them come to fruition in the development phase. And we have another user saying, wouldn't it be easier to have a script before you announce things? Gunn then says again, I wish we lived in a world where I could wait to have a script before the development of a project got out. And the only projects that's really happened with is Superman itself, way back in the day when he was writing it before Black Adam Adam, and the most recently announced dynamic duo. But as for other projects that are still yet to be officially confirmed, think about it. The Teen Titans movie written by Ana Nogueira has been leaked, the Dead Man project, the Blue Beetle animated series, the list goes on. But he does reassure fans with this user saying, so from the announced slate, is it safe to say that everything else is in development? And he says yes. So this doesn't mean that everything announced in that YouTube video isn't happening, despite the way James Gunn worded that. Everything still is in development and aimed to get to the point of having a script and one day being fully greenlit to go into production. But you can't always guarantee that, and you can't always guarantee which projects will get the green light first, which is why you might have some projects shuffled around, like how, The Authority might not happen for quite a while, or like how Waller happened after Peacemaker instead of before Peacemaker. And as for the DCU Titans, we had a little teeny bit of an update again that I think people are kind of taking in various different ways. This user said, James Gunn, is it true that Teen Titans is in pre-production? We have another user replying to that user saying, well, he mentioned the other day the stuff that's in pre-production. And he did, and that was in live action. He's confirmed as of right now, it is just Supergirl and Lanterns. But this is what I mean with people interpreting things not always in the correct way. That is in live action right now, but that doesn't mean like projects like Dead Man, the animated series Blue Beetle, or a live action Teen Titans movie aren't in development, officially in development. It's just they haven't got the pre-production green light just yet. Either way, the user continues saying, but Production Weekly says it's in. And Gunn replies saying Production Weekly is very, very, very often completely wrong. No clue where they get their information from. So people are like, oh, that means Ana Nogueira's Teen Titans movie reported by The Hollywood Reporter and most recently kind of doubled down by Variety isn't happening. No, this is just Gunn saying that Production Weekly is often very wrong about things. That doesn't mean that Teen Titans, the movie in the DCU, isn't happening. He's just saying that technically Teen Titans, as according to Production Weekly, being in production is wrong. That doesn't mean it's not in early development, if you know what I mean. So just to clear up and provide any clarity there, obviously I can't guarantee it's happening, but that would be my advised way of looking at it. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that's where I'm going to end today's news roundup video. An absolute blast of an episode, if you will. I loved talking about everything we had to discuss today because there was quite a lot to discuss that I am dying to hear your thoughts on down in the comments below, because I'll be reading them and I'll be engaging with some of them, so don't forget to get involved. I would really deeply appreciate it, especially if you're watching right now, if you're on your phone, your TV, whatever it is. Hit the like button, it just helps me out a lot, helps this move out there in the algorithm. Consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already, double check that red button. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you people of the DCU in the next video. Goodbye.